to viewers, as all eyes are on the result day tomorrow, election frenzy slowly picking up momentum in the national capital as well. A day after AAP became first off the block to announce its first list of 11 candidates for the upcoming Delhi polls expected early next year. AAP convener Arvind Kejriwal has launched the Revdi Pe Charcha campaign. The focus of the campaign is on free services provided by the AAP government, such as electricity, water, healthcare, education, bus rides for women, and the party plans to hold 65,000 meetings across Delhi to inform voters about these services. Kejriwal has also revealed plans to introduce a monthly assistance of ₹1,000 for women in Delhi, calling it another Revdi. Former Delhi Chief Minister also warned people that if BJP comes to power, it will pull the plug on these Revdis of free services.
हमें वोट दो, उनका नेता कह रहा था, हमें वोट दो, हम वो सारे काम करेंगे जो केजरीवाल कर रहा है। तो फिर जब वो केजरीवाल वाले ही काम करने हैं तो जनता केजरीवाल को ही ले आएगी ना, फिर तुमको क्यों लाएगी? हम वो बिजली मुफ्त देंगे जो केजरीवाल दे रहा है, हम भी पानी मुफ्त देंगे जो केजरीवाल दे रहा है, हम भी बसें मुफ्त देंगे जो केजरीवाल। तो जब वही काम करने हैं जो केजरीवाल कर रहा है तो फिर केजरीवाल को ही वोट दे देंगे, डुप्लीकेट को क्यों लाएंगे?
Now, Revdi is a term which was first used by Prime Minister Modi to describe freebies in politics. At Bundelkhand Expressway launch in July 2022, the Prime Minister cautioned people against the free Revdis, calling it very dangerous for the nation's development. BJP, meanwhile, launched a blistering attack on Kejriwal, questioning his intention and demanded answers from him on the pollution situation. Interestingly, Congress also hit out at Kejriwal, saying that people are now fed up of him.
हमारा मानना यह है कि दिल्ली में बिजली की सब्सिडी का लाभ सभी उपभोक्ताओं को मिलना चाहिए, लेकिन अरविंद केजरीवाल नहीं बताते कि बिजली के बिल बढ़े हुए क्यों आते हैं। अरविंद केजरीवाल पानी की बात करते हैं। दिल्ली में पानी है क्या पीने के लिए? अगर पीने के लिए साफ पानी मिलता तो दिल्ली में पिछले गत वर्ष में सरकारी आंकड़ों के अनुसार दिल्ली के सरकारी अस्पतालों में 21,000 लोग गंदा पानी पीने से मरते हैं।
Actually, people are fed up of our party and BJP, who have failed in protecting the environment. They have failed in protecting the Yamuna river, how it is polluted. They have not organized any methods to control the environment. The AQ level has crossed 400 today, and it crossed 500 about a few days back. So basically, our party has failed on all fronts.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Let's take this across to our guest now. Joining us is Priyanka Kakkar, national spokesperson of the Aadmi Party. Ravi Srivastava, political analyst, is with us. Also continuing with us from debate number 1, Dr. Anand Raghunathan as well as Pradeep Bhandari. Let me start with you first. Priyanka Kakkar, the big problem is this. The BJP is saying that here, on the one hand, you have the Prime Minister who has been talking about how Revdis are dangerous. And we've seen it in the neighborhood itself. We've seen what's happened in Sri Lanka. We've seen what's happened in several of our state governments where there are certain poll promises that are made, and then fulfilling those promises becomes a huge economic strain on the exchequer of that particular state. In this situation, Mr. Kejriwal coming out and glorifying Revdis, justifying them perhaps by the kind of statement that he's made, how appropriate is that?
Good evening, Madhavji, to you, to the fellow panelists, and to all the viewers. Madhavji, I think Arvind Kejriwal is one person who can absolutely claim to give free Revdis, and he's done so in the past, shown fiscal prudence by churning a budget and profit year on year since we came to power in 2015, after allocating a very high portion of our budget to education, 26%, 14% to 16%, I'm sorry, to health. We've shown that this model can work, because we are, all governments have money. All we are doing is that using the taxpayers' money on the taxpayer. Even the BJP has a Revada model. They have a Revada model where they use the taxpayers' money and give it to Adani, for example. They will only give it to the Punjipatis. They will write off 16 lakh crore in debt that is owed by them. They will give corporate tax cuts, reduce it from 30% to 22%. They will, today I was reading a study. It said that 90% of the population which is not in the top 1% is the one who's paying the most taxes. The top 1% is barely paying any taxes comparatively. So we are using this tax that is paid by the majority people in India. We're giving it back to them. We will continue to do so with utmost pride. Let me also tell you a simple calculation. For example, say it will cost 6,000-7,008 crores a year to provide free services such as free bijli, free pani, free महिलाओं को बस यात्रा, free बुजुर्गों को तीर्थ यात्रा, free अच्छा school, best education, best healthcare, all of this for free, and the total cost will be about say 8,000 crores. Whereas you can see how much has been written off for say the Adanis, or you can see how much. And you know,
that's a direct question for the BJP. I'm going to allow the BJP to comment. Dr. Nathan, just coming to you in a minute. But it's the BJP that has a REVDA model. You are helping the industrialists. We are helping the persons from whom the tax is collected from the common man. Please respond to Dr.
Point first, Madhav. For the first time in 31 years, Delhi has slipped into revenue deficit. This is exactly what Mr. Kejriwal's free Revdi model is. Mr. Kejriwal promised Mohalla clinics. The reality is 65,000 ghost patients have been reported in Mohalla clinics. Mr. Kejriwal promised about free education. Reality is that not a single school in Delhi in 11th standard, 2/3 schools do not have science teacher. Mr. Kejriwal promised to clean Yamuna and take a dip in Yamuna on Times Now with your editor-in-chief Naveka Kumar, and still now he's not done it. Mr. Kejriwal promised that he'll clean roads. The reality is 10,000 complaints have been registered by PWD in the last few months. Mr. Kejriwal promised about free electricity. Last few months in Sangam Vihar to Vasant Vihar, electricity prices have shot up. Mr. Kejriwal promised about garbage-free Delhi when he will come into power in MCD. The reality is that you take 5-kilometer stretch in Delhi and you will see garbage everywhere. So Mr. Kejriwal's model can only give guarantee about a 40 crore sheesh mill that he had built for his family at the time when India was suffering from COVID and Prime Minister was providing vaccines, which Mr. Kejriwal opposed. Now I'll tell you what is our model. Our model in the next 10 seconds is about providing 10 crore Ujwalas to 10 crore Ujwala connection, 4 crore Awas, 13 crore Jal Jeevan Mission, 10 crore toilets, 52 crore bank accounts, 5 crore health, 50 crore citizens under Ayushman Bharat, and 3.2 lakh crores distributed to 11 crore farmers, 6,000 rupees every year, and PM Kareeb Kalyan Yojana, 81 crore people getting ration, Mudra Yojana, 17 lakh crore distributed to 28.89 crore, in which 67% are women, and under Startup India for the first time 118 unicorns, 17,254 startups, 12 lakh jobs created, and PLFS survey also suggests that jobs have been created. So only person which is jobless is the India Alliance, and Haryana has confirmed Mr. Kejriwal's honesty by electing and ensuring that 90% seats they lost deposits.
All right, let me quickly begin. Ravi Srivastava, you know, one very important point, and this is why this is such an important debate. I mean, any political party will talk about its track record. The BJP will say something, AAP will say something. But these are the facts. I mean, he's talking about Delhi slipping into a revenue deficit, but I have the figures of Punjab right before me. 3.74 lakh crores is the debt of Punjab. The per capita debt is 1.24 lakh rupees per person. Now, that's a phenomenal amount of debt for any state to have.
Good evening, Madhav. I think Punjab inherited the same amount of debt when the Man government took over. So, as per your data, they have not made much progress.
The debt has increased from what I know, and you know, the point is you've been in power for a few years now. There could have been some concerted effort at reducing that. Has that happened?
Madhav, first of all, let me tell you that Kejriwal model, let us talk about that. Who 10 years before, who talked about Mohalla clinic, who talked about revamping education system, who talked about the health care to the people, who talked about the elders taken for a Tirth Yatra, or who talked about the women's safety in the buses? Did we talk about? Did you talk about? We had seen the governments, numbers of the governments coming and going here and there, but nobody talked about it. He talked about it. Why I am saying I live in Bombay. I am paying 13 rupees per unit for the electricity, sir. What is my fault? I pay 500 rupees every month for water. What is my fault? Because the government, the BJP government, and they are doing everywhere now.
Sir, but the Delhi government schemes are not aimed at your demographic at all. They are aimed at BPL families from what I understand.
No, I don't know whom it is going. Ayushman Bharat is a fraud.
You don't know.
Ayushman Bharat.
You're praising the schemes and you don't know who it's going for.
No, I'm telling one scheme. There were 7.5 lakh numbers on one mobile number. They had given all benefits. So please don't talk about these data, 4 crore houses, 10 crore roads, 15 crore this and that. On the ground, it is not there. This is all bogus data they are submitting.
Okay, Dr. Ranganathan, I want Dr. Ranganathan to respond to you. This is all bogus data that the government of the centre is providing. We are providing the real development. That is the argument, and Mr. Kejriwal has spoken about education, healthcare and electricity, real issues that affect the common man. That's the argument of Ravi Srivastava. Respond to that, Dr.
So let me, thank you, Madhav. Let me make 2 or 3 very important points, or points that I think are important, because everyone, the 3 panelists, co-panelists have made important points. Number 1, let me just give you the facts that ever since AAP took reins in Punjab, the debt has grown by upwards of 25%. So it was 3.05 lakh crores when Congress left, and today, you're right, it is 3.75 lakh crores. Number 2, Pradeep is also right, that first time in years, the Delhi state government has a debt of 40,000 crores. Now let me say this, Priyanka ji is also right. The problem is that everyone out here is right and wrong, but nobody wants to show why they are wrong. They want to hide what they're wrong. And the problem is that every revdi, I'm giving you facts, every revdi that Kejriwal has given, the BJP has also given that same revdi, and vice versa. Problem is, no politician will ever draw this line, what is welfare and what is revdi. Because for them, every revdi is welfare. That's how they get away from it. Now, Priyanka ji rightly said, any government should spend money on health, on education. Absolutely. That is welfare. That is not revdi. Pradeep rightly said, every government should spend money on making toilets, on Ujjwala, gas connection, on Ayushman cards. That's welfare, not revdi. So have they defined what revdi is? Let me define what revdi is. Revdi is when you spend taxpayers' money at the expense of taxpayer, you spend money on anti-national activities as well as in placating your vote bank. What do I mean? Or self-aggrandization. Spending money like AAP government has. AAP government have in the last 3 years 1,200 crores on spending on government ads, wishing each other happy birthday. That is spending our money on self-aggrandization, on thumping each other's back. Revdi is when you give pilgrimage, free pilgrimage promise to senior citizens. Why? Why are you spending our money on sending people so that they may vote for you again? Both BJP and AAP do it. Revdi is when you have MSP. Revdi is when you actually do all these kinds of things on the pretext that you are actually doing welfare, but you are actually doing welfare like the old pension scheme being reverted to and new pension scheme being given. So unless the politician defines what is welfare and what is revdi, we have right now.
I think that's a very, very valid question.
Debt of 75 lakh crores.
And I think that's a fair question. I'm going to put that across to Priyanka Kakkar. Priyanka Kakkar, health, education, there's no denying it. All governments provide such basic facilities and these are welfare schemes. But when you bracket that into revdis, you're actually problematizing the entire debate. You know, we are at a situation where the Election Commission tried to put out a form saying that political parties, when they put out their campaign manifesto, they must give out the, actual outlay that they plan for the various schemes that they're putting out to. No political party agreed to that. The point being made is there has to be a distinction between what is welfare and what is revdi, where the taxpayers' money is perhaps unnecessarily being spent, where perhaps there can be no political unanimity on what is being spent and why it's being spent. Why is there no differentiation here?
Madhavji, I think we have shown a successful model by giving, actually we will enhance these free revdis and we will give more. The tax we collect from our citizens is meant to be spent on our citizens. We have no doubt about it. Today we are doing it on healthcare and education. Tomorrow we will also give thousands.
But why call healthcare and education revdi? They are basics. No one is in disagreement with you that it's required. But why call it revdi is the question that Dr. Ranganathan is asking you.
Tell me. Because it is not available in other states. That is why you see that 80% population in Delhi hospitals we cater to from people who have apparently an Ayushman Bharat in their states. Why are they coming to Delhi? They're most welcome. We provided such a model. But there are no mohalla clinics in those states. There are no free medicines in those states. Ayushman Bharat, for example, does not cover OPD patients. You have to essentially get hospitalized for 5 days only, then will you be covered. You have to be earning less than 10,000.
But mohalla clinics also don't support hospitalization, do they?
There. Now, what do you think Ayushman Bharat is? Huh?
I'm saying mohalla clinics also don't support hospitalization. That's only for OPD. So they will also argue the counterpoint.
No, it's also... I am saying that we provide both hospitalization and OPD. Mohalla clinic caters to OPD, and there are hospitals, Delhi government hospitals, which cater to free surgeries. And most of the, we call it a revy because you don't get this in other states. Or tell me one state where you can get a free surgery in a BJP rule state. Or tell me one state where you get free bijli. We will give free bijli.
Almost out of time, but I want Pradeep very quickly to respond to you. Pradeep, you are also doing the same thing. That's the charge coming from
There's a difference. We do not get a state into revenue deficit. We've got this country into top 5 and we'll get it into top 3 economies. We've cut the income tax from 2 lakh to 7 lakh for the middle class. They're lying. Just 10 seconds. UNDP quote, Ayushman Bharat scheme of India should be adopted by other Asian countries. Quote, WHO chief says that Ayushman Bharat is a model scheme which should be adopted and replicated by other countries. Quote, Mohalla clinics report 65,000 fake patients. That is the reality. Has Mr. Kejriwal ever done an ilaj in Mohalla clinic of his own family? Absolutely not. That's the reality of Mohalla clinic.
All right. Leaving it there, Ravi Srivastav, Priyanka Kakkar, Dr. Anand Raghunathan, Pradeep Bhandari. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us. But this entire rhetoric around Revdis, even before the Delhi elections have been announced, perhaps is going to give us an indication on which way politics, at least in the national capital, is headed for the next few months. Thanks so much for joining us this evening.